Continuing here. Locally, we had a 49-year-old guy that tried to check himself in to a mental health facility here locally in the Chico area of Northern California. And it was like the next day or something. The guy did something freaky and went on the run from the cops and ended up being shot like a dog. The facility, can you imagine that? They refused to see the guy because he was, I guess, too mentally ill for their facility. So they turned him out. I already talked about the new claim of housing shortage. You know, I could literally find you thousands of houses right here in Chico for sale. They talk about a housing shortage. No, there's a lack of affordable housing, okay? But they're not honest. The mainstream media is not trained to be honest and to educate people properly, which is their job. Remember, the media in all its sundry incarnations is their primary job is to inform, and information and education are two peas in a pod. They're inseparable. Education is information. Information is education, right? So it's the same thing. These are the cutting edge educators. And when they're remiss, utterly so often, okay, what they focus on, what they choose to ignore, is very manipulative. They are themselves being manipulated. Some of them know it, some of them don't. But there's no housing shortage. But this is they're back. They've made full circle. So why are people homeless? What's going on here? What, the workers won't work. The workers won't build houses. Is that the problem? What's going on? All the state of the art tools and equipment we have now to build houses, we can stamp them out like pancakes, just like that. That's the truth, folks. It's all made up lies, deceit, nonsense. Just methods of manipulating people. We got a Toronto terrorist ran over crowds of people, killing 10, maiming countless more. Nice guy, huh? And the dude was he was pointing something at the cops there in Canada, Toronto, and he would have been shot dead. I don't know what the hell, you know. Right or wrong, I mean, you point something at the cops, okay, don't be surprised if you're shot dead, okay? That guy was trying to commit suicide, but he failed because they didn't shoot him. So now they got to deal with this demon-possessed character. A long time ago, I was talking about the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, I'm self-employed landscape gardener, and I was doing this job for a long time down in Santa Cruz area. And one time I remember, and it just came to my mind again recently because I forgot to mention it the next week after I caught it. When I was uploading the video, I caught the where I needed to edit it, at least to explain what I said. But I said something to the effect of, I work for these people and charging them, before I left the area, I had my prices up to $35 an hour, but I didn't tell them. And that didn't sound right. That almost sounded like I was being dishonest. And what I meant was I did it by a bid. I learned that I would gamble and risk my knowledge of how long this thing would take me to make better pay. So I myself didn't know, but once somebody is satisfied with the job I did for them, for the amount I agreed to work for them, then you could do the math yourself. So when they see, hedge trim, they know how long it took, and so they could do the math themselves. And wow, that guy got paid $35 an hour for what he did for me. It's not always so easy. Eventually, you gotta, if they continue to hire you, it's got to be spelled out on your invoice, on your bill that I'm coming for a set amount of time. This is the way it works, and it's going to cost you a lot if you want me to, take care of a big giant estate. I mean, I tell people straight up, I could spend my whole life on any given yard, even a relatively small yard, there's always more for a landscaper to do to make it pretty, okay? So it never ends. I just wanted to explain that because I've never been dishonest in my dealings with my customers, okay? That's my clients are sacrosanct in my mind. I don't cheat anybody. I don't. I give more than they expect than they're due, really. I just do that to make sure they feel like they're getting a good deal. That's the kind of worker I am. That's the kind of servant I am. So I just wanted to just clarify that point as irrelevant to current recent events. And also I add talking points into this. These notes I take over the week, I add talking points. That's just one of the talking points I wanted to get off my chest for a long time. I never wrote it down, so I never remembered. But you sure can't get $35 an hour in the North State here, I'll tell you that much. No, people are very price conscious. They're very thrifty around here. I found the same thing when I worked in Las Vegas. A lot of people down there were kind of very, let's put it that way, they're very price conscious. So it gets very competitive. They don't really care so much about the quantity or quality of your work. They just want, a certain amount done, and they want to pay as low as possible. But there's a lot of driving around in Vegas. I mean, you can drive 25 miles literally from one end of the valley to another for a job, and that it cuts into your costs. I mean, when you got to spend all that on gasoline, just driving around, your time too. So, this is not a portal to portal hourly charge that the people are paying, and if they were, they'd be paying a lot more. It's tough. It's very competitive. Every guy and every immigrant out there with a junk pickup and a lawnmower is out there you're competing with. And, hey, that's capitalism for you, I guess. But I know one thing. Progress dictates that things got to get easier for people, not harder. That's the whole idea. That's why we invent and innovate. Why the hell do you think we came up with these giant harvesters, combines, and crap? So men and plows and oxen don't have to be out there doing the work. Good God, what's the whole idea, man? We want less work, folks, and there could be a hell of a lot less work. Oh, I mentioned also another perk of this basic income would be overnight traffic on the LA freeway. Gone. That's right. Something a lot of people wouldn't think of. They wouldn't think that it would put a big hole in pedophilia, and they wouldn't think about the traffic. But I'm here to tell you, there's another couple of perks of a basic guaranteed income. Okay? It's crazy. I mean, all the pluses. I mean, and I've just touched on a few. You could probably think of a few yourself. Things that bug you about society, contending with the world, the stressors, the unnecessary suffering that you experience through this undue stress and burden that's put on you from your cost of living tax. Jake Lloyd, let's see. Oh, yeah, I left a comment, but he was talking about how these people that set up the welfare agencies have the best intentions. Does he know about the Cloward and Piven strategy? That's ridiculous. This is deliberate. This is what people they're in their effort to not appear cynical. They say they give people the benefit of the doubt here, and in some cases, I assume if somebody really believes something, but when it comes to these policies and the creation of the welfare state, this is done because they know they're going to create so much wreckage that the people will revolt. So, to circumvent the people having some, velvet revolution and revolting in a peaceable way, to have real permanent change, to have true progress in the land, they throw a few crumbs out there. They set up these agents. Well, we're just got these problems, these incompetent, we got these weak links we got to take care of. And they act like they're the good guys in implementing these welfare programs. No, look at this $50 billion a year going into Section 8 housing welfare subsidy. And it just exacerbated the problem completely. Okay, it's made it way worse. Okay, so that's not the motivation. Okay, the motivation is to prevent revolt, a velvet revolution, where people actually demand true progress and true capitalism, true sound monetary economic policies. That's what they're trying to do. They're weasels. I'm telling you, they're there's no better word than diabolical, cunning, crafty. They're just, God. sinister, mean. Mean mother effers is who's manipulating us, man. Just get that through all your heads, folks. Um, uh, Max Kaiser on the Kaiser Report with Max and Stacy had Mish Firestein, this guy that wrote the book Planet Ponzi. Here's a guy that gets it. Here's a guy that can understand and knows everything I talk about is true. How this would solve our social problems. And it would cause all kinds of other problems that are really not problems at all, like a lack of work for people. How is that a problem? What's the problem? Find something to do. Nobody's trying to say take away your income. Nobody's trying to say you have to be poor. I'm not. I'm sure as hell not. God isn't. No decent, upright people are telling you that. Okay, but we should all be doing jobs that are relevant and productive to the welfare of society, not all these useless jobs that revolve around the problems continuing. Jesus, and I don't need to go into that. I go into that every week, so I don't need to go into it again. You know where I stand on that, but Firestein was predicting that he thinks real estate prices. I don't know if he's just talking commercial. There might be a relation between commercial and residential real estate, but he says he's predicting some 80% reduction in cost of Manhattan, New York real estate prices. Now that's MAGA. That's making America great again. That's hope for people. But that's really going to happen. It might be wishful thinking. He might be a cockeyed optimist or something, but I like the man. I think he's honest, upright character. One of the few good, honest, non-brown nosing economists out there that understand the issues. Max is really on fire for this Bitcoin thing, really trying to promote it. I mean, people have lost their butts too. He doesn't ever talk about that, but I don't know. You know, I don't. I want it all to disappear. I want all forms of money, and eventually they will disappear. Okay, but in the meantime, I'm not going to tell anybody what they should do with this Bitcoin thing. I don't know. You know, I don't like it. People want fiat currency, okay? And until Bitcoin starts really competing with the Federal Reserve in a very tangible manner, then we're going to have these things are just going to crawl along like they are. You're going to get very, very stagnant support for Bitcoin. A lot of people like myself, I don't like a lot of, crypto stuff. I don't like digital and everything's done online by swiping your card. I mean, it smacks too much of this mark of the beast system where eventually we're going to have RFID chips implanted to where, you just, hey, you can't buy or sell unless you got this mark of the beast in your hand or on your forehead, whatever, in your mind, so you know the number in your mind. Maybe that's the mark they're talking about, where you've fully capitulated and agreed to the terms of service, of this world beast system. No, I really don't like digital currency, and it's just another form. It's digital currency, cryptocurrency, fancy names, Bitcoin. I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. I mean, it's the whole precept behind the creation of credit cards. I mean, wow, it's invisible. It's just a card. I swipe my card, and magically, I'm good for this amount of money, and I got credit, man. I don't know. I don't know. I just think he's a little hopped up on this, not talking enough about extinguishing the Federal Reserve like JFK tried to do, or completely, right? Just taking over the reins of power of the money printing. I mean, look, Kinkos can print our money. We don't need these people for squat. So let's pay them off with some more digital money, some more fiat currency, and say, get the hell out of town, dude. We don't want you. Get out of Dodge, to the Federal Reserve and all their members and all their constituents and the private entities involved in it. Bye. See ya. We'll pay you with our new digital currency. Bye. See y'all. We'll pay. If you want fiat, we'll pay. Kinko's is going to print you out a bunch of trillions. Bye-bye. See ya, Federal Reservists. Bye-bye. We don't need you. That's what I would do. I'd love to see Trump do something like that if he could. Defy, Alan Greenspan, the beloved Fed, affectionately termed the Fed. Oh, who said, nobody can supersede our decisions, not even the president, not Congress, not the Senate, nobody. Okay, not the Supreme Court. Nobody. We're the most powerful entity in the world, the Federal Reserve. You piece of. Teachers striking. But why aren't the teachers, they're teaching everybody you got to stand up for fair pay. Okay, that's all fine and good. But are they educating people? These are the educators. Are they educating people about basic economic principles? Or what are they saying about capitalism and supply and demand and all this? About currency debasement? Okay, what are they doing to educate the public on this? And what it's going to take to turn this thing around for everybody? Okay, do they talk about the cost of living tax?